Hey, Patty. How are you?
I am awesome. How are you?
I can't hear you yet. Oh, there you are. Now I can hear you. Okay, very good. All right, I'm gonna let's go here. Uh, get Give me just a second here. Tip number 19. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. All right. I think we're going live now. Hello on the Facebook side. Hello, 8 o'clock straight up. Okay, good. This is working. Hello on the Zoom side to Patty, who is with me live. Anybody that's watching on the YouTube channel, watch Get a Clue. Hello. This is another installment of Get a Clue in 52. This is going to be a quick one tonight. Do I have your permission to make it brief and get back to Mother's Day? Happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you. Here we go. This is the first Mother's Day of my life where my mom has not been like alive. All right. All right. Earlier this morning, my mom was the first mom that I thought about today. And so I posted something on Facebook that I think sums it up pretty good. And I'm ready to go ahead and stay true to what I'm here to do tonight, which is read another tip from the book, Get a Clue in 52. There's 5 categories, right? We started off with communication. Now we're in marketing before we move on to networking, sales, and then accountability. And it's 52 tips overall. We got a year's worth. We did this every week in 2020. We're doing it every week in 2021. And tonight is number 19 overall, but number 9 in the marketing section. And I guess by number, I've got 19 different dedications that I did. So if you have a copy of the book and you're on the dedications section, we could go ahead and what I want you to know is that the 18 weeks leading up to today, I read every other dedication in here except for the one that I'm going to read right now, which I think is the last dedication in the dedication section. And so future installments of Get a Clue in 52 are just going to be me reviewing all the tips we covered in a section and then getting into the tip of the night. But let me go ahead and say this word for word. To my students and clients, all of you, past, present, and future, your growth is the reason I do what I do. Your success is the reason for all of it. So please be fearless in your continued commitment to personal and professional growth, my friends. All my love, Jeffrey. All right. That concludes the dedications section. There were many, I guess 19 in total. Somebody can fact check that if you want. But then let me go ahead and move forward and let's do a review of everything that we've covered in the marketing section. The marketing section, there's so much to say about marketing. That's why it got 2 extra tips. There's 12 tips in the marketing section, 10 in the every other category in the book. But here we go. Starting from page 41 or 42. Tip number 1 was know what you need to know, then know it, which is me just laying out the 11 tips that come after tip number 1. So it's like a survey, if you will. I think it's just good to look at them in list form. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 breaks it down a little further. Know your ideal customers, demographics, psychographics, personas, avatars, on and on. Where do they go? What are they thinking? What do they see along the way? How do you get there when they're there? On and on. Tip number 3 is know your competition. Who else is trying to get your prospects' attention? Who else is trying to get your customers' attention? Know what they're doing. Know what you want to do as well or better than them. Know what they're doing that you want to do different than they do, or better than they do, or know what you want to do that they don't do, right? You got to know the competition. Tip number 4 is know the market conditions. What's happening politically, socioeconomically, culturally, pandemically. Right? I digress. Tip number 5, know the issues. Now, when we say know the issues, this is just it stands alone as its own tip, but it's really an extension of that tip number 2. Know your customers. Know what pleasure they seek. Know what pain they want to avoid. Know the issues they're dealing with and the dynamics surrounding those issues, and you'll be better at marketing. All right. Tip number 6, know your stuff. Like really, really, really know your stuff. Now, knowing your stuff doesn't mean you always have to talk about all of your stuff. You want to talk about the stuff that's going to grab the attention of your prospect, let them know that you can solve their problem or help them get closer to the pleasure they seek, right? But then when they start asking questions, if they start seeking more information, that's when you want to know your stuff, right? To answer questions about your products, your services, yourself, your team, your company, on and on. You got to know your stuff. All right. Tip number 7 is know your brand or brands. We talked about brand being a promise to the marketplace. And you can brand yourself. You can brand your stuff. You can brand your team. You can brand your organization. So we want to expand your thinking when it comes to brand. Branding is getting the message out there, but the brand is the message. What is the promise that you're making to the marketplace? Now, branding is all the different ways we get that promise out there, all the different attempts to, brand, get that message cemented in the minds of the audience, right? So that was tip number 7. And then last week we talked about know the drivers of buyer/human psychology. It's a very brief tip, but the truth of the matter is what people want has been studied like for years. What do people want? What else do people want? Is there anything else people want? And there's a lot of different frames, a lot of different places you can go to for information on what people want. What drives the buyer psychology? What drives our emotional needs? So that stuff is known. known. And that's what we talked about last week. So I don't have to go into too much detail on it tonight. But that brings us to tonight, which is tip number 9. And tip number 9 is kind of fun. I intended to be fun, but you know what? As luck would have it, there we go. Let me come back here. Josiah, I see you. My brother was trying to chime in. He's not a Facebook guy. All right. I had to get rid of that call that was coming, and I'll call him later. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and read tip number 9, and then we'll open it up to a little bit of conversation. But I'm going to be upfront about me desperately wanting to get back to my wife, mother of my children. But let's see what we're going to do here. All right. Tip number 9. Know a good wordsmith. Page 55. You guys ready? Here we go. If you have been following my tips chronologically, you've committed to knowing what you need to know, your customer, competition, market conditions, the issues your customer faces, your products, services, your promises, and the drivers of your buyer's inner psychology. Deep breath. So by now, you have learned a lot of jargon about each of those topics or categories. Jargon is the term that describes industry/subject specific language. The language that students of the subject or members of a culture may understand readily, but non-students or non-members would not. Danger, danger, danger. You could be cursed. The curse of knowledge is when you are so familiar with what you know that you have forgotten what it is like not to know what you know. The curse is a danger to great marketing. That curse is a danger to great marketing. If marketing messages are full of jargon, words that only experts know the true meaning of, they risk not being understood and squander the opportunity to be memorable and lasting. Allow me to exemplify. Nike isn't telling you to shoot. Let me take a deep breath here because I laugh before I get to read it all. Nike isn't telling you to choose a shoe whose microfiber, mathematically engineered and spectrometer calibrated precision fit will have you wanting to overcome the inertia effect of human laziness and the undesirability of those among the species less physically fit than others. They are telling you to just do it. Thank you, Patty. Was that right? Thank you. I mean, just to see your face. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Josiah. Thank you for opening up the. All right. I continue. Do I need to provide another example? Okay. I do not promise that my coaching will, deep inhale, detect your diction choices to access your limiting beliefs, which I will then replace with empowering alternatives and conditions session by session to the point of true and lasting, dare I say, trans-contextual transformation. No, but I will say, let's do a checkup from the neck up to get you out of your own way, off your ass, and into action. So like I said, you need a wordsmith, and even better if you have a sloganeer on your side, someone who can string great words into memorable phrases that deliver your brand promise. Track these. When it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. That's right, Patty, Federal Express, right? The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, nighttime fever so you can rest medicine. And by the way, I don't even think that's right. I think I need to edit that. I think it's the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy fever so you can rest. Stuffy needs to be in there. Let me make a note. We can fix that for the 3rd edition. Stuffy. Anyway, stuffy fever so you can rest medicine. I'm loving it. Just do it. Where's the beef? Membership has its privileges. Get a clue. Happy Clue Year. Cluebrication makes things easier. You got it. With the right coach, you can have clucidity. Oh, in life and business. There should be an in right there. In life and business. Some coaches go for the jugular, but Coach Jeffrey goes for the hugular. Know when to say when. I could go on and clearly digress. Thanks for humoring me. Let's go ahead and turn on to tip number 10, which we'll talk about next week. So I'm teasing you a little bit. I put the picture in there of the wine bottles of the cluebrication. So I get to send these bottles out to certain customers or clients or prospects with a little note that says happy. Oh, what does it say? Wishing you success in a happy Clue year. So there's a picture in here of me, me branding and sloganeering. I'm using my name on and on and on. I digress. Memorable, sticky, catchy phrases and slogans and taglines, etc. Beyond the jargon. Anyway, let's go ahead and open it up. Patty, Josiah, do you guys have any comments, questions? Thank you for joining me live. Let me go ahead and, as I'm asking you to open up, let me switch the audio around and all of this stuff. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say that I couldn't miss this particular tip because you are the wordsmith that I just am so happy to know. So I have nothing to say about this tip other than it's great to be here and see you. And hi, Josiah.
All right, there we go. Did I get rid of that? Okay, that flashlight thing. All right, thanks, Patty. That's just wonderful. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and give you props as well because we came up with in very serious situation, right? Confrontation. Confrontation's bad, but confrontation's necessary. And confrontation is just one thing coming into presence with another. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, but we hear about things like pros and cons, right?
Right.
So subconsciously we think confrontation bad, right? So
right.
We just went for it. We just said, well, let's call it a profrontation.
Right. I like it much better.
Hey, do I have permission to engage you in some profrontation? What? Excuse me? Well, I heard you just say something that I don't think is as true as the sun rising tomorrow. So I'd like to profront you on that.
It works.
Right? Thank you, Josiah. Anyway, thanks for being here, Patty, as always. It was a really neat experience the last 2 weeks where I was just talking about myself. And it was episode in a row, 69 and 70. So 68 or 69 consecutive weeks, I had somebody here to interact with. And then it was kind of refreshing to just read the tip and bail, right? That said, it's never as refreshing as seeing people taking time out of their lives to come on board with me live. So hats off to you. And Josiah, why don't you open up and talk to us a little bit? What's happening, man?
It's interesting that you bring up confrontation or profrontation. I've had some interesting experiences this week. I'm moving around a lot in life and dealing with people who have not been the best at communication. And that's led to some frustration and anxiety among other emotions that have been dealt. That being said, I'm here.
Yeah. Let me tell you, man, you're only, I don't know if you have a copy, but your last year's price, $20.20. You're $20.20 away from all 10 tips in section number 1 in communication. Let me go ahead and say privately, man, if there's anything I can do for you one-on-one, why don't you just hit me up on the side? We'll talk it out. Communication is what it's like. Here's the thing, man. I'm going to tell you something. This is a trip. You guys want to trip out with me?
Absolutely.
All right. Check this out. People say things like, are you ready? Jeff or Coach Jeffrey, how do you deal with procrastination? I'm procrastinating. I'm having such a hard time with procrastination. I'm procrastinating. And they seem like so ready and willing to admit to procrastination as if it's become like acceptable. So there's something watered down about, because procrastination means, like, if you look, somebody look this up for me, right? What's the textbook definition? What's the Webster's definition? What would Siri tell us is the definition of procrastination? It's not becoming. I tell you that. Right? So what I'm getting at is, all right, so then resolutions, right? People say, oh, my New Year's resolution. Well, that's watered down also because everybody knows people break their resolutions before 30 days goes by. Okay. So that gets watered down, right?
The dictionary says it's the act of postponing, delaying, or putting off, especially habitually or intentionally.
Right. So check this out. People don't say, I'm a habitual postponer.
No, they don't.
People don't say, I perpetually and habitually delay. They don't say that. They say I'm procrastinating. Why? Because as soon as they say procrastinating, the intuition is that they're going to get it done at some point. They just haven't got it done yet. But the truth is that they're not doing shit, right? That's the truth, right? But they'll call themselves a procrastinator as if somehow that's acceptable. What am I saying this for? I'm saying this because communication, it breaks my heart. Do you see over my shoulder? Josiah, do you see that thing on the wall? That's a master's in communication. It breaks my heart because guess what? Everybody gets to say this. Are you ready? Oh, it's a breakdown in communication. Oh, it's a communication problem. Oh, we're having bad communication. But nobody knows how to improve the communication. Nobody can tell me 6 steps to improving communication, 6 steps to ensuring clarity. Right? A lot of times people say, oh, it's a breakdown in communication. And that's an easy, by the way, here, do you see how I'm inching towards it, Josiah? What am I inching towards? 100% responsibility, right? So here you are. It's so easy for you to say, you know what? I've been having a tough week. There's been some communication issues. Now it's not you. It's not your listening. It's not your messaging. It's not your encoding. It's not your decoding. It's not your filters. It's not your emotional addictions. It's not your default meaning making. It's a communication issue. Do you understand what I'm getting at? How easy it is to call things that? And the funny part is that you're right. It is. Okay. And communication is just one word for what the founders, right, called communicare, to make one with. To make one with. So miscommunication is to not make one with. It's to not unite. It's to not come together, Patty. It's to not integrate. Message sent with message received.
Right.
Is message sent, message received? Was message even sent? You're supposed to read my mind? Oh my God.
Lots
Talk
of
about
messages were
Mother's
sent
Day.
and they were not replied to.
Dude, let me make it funny. Let me make it funny. Marianne, I said, Marianne, what do you want to do for Mother's Day? I don't know. Okay, can you let me know so that I don't do the wrong thing? Okay, I'll let you know tomorrow. Right? Okay, Marianne, have you thought about it? Oh, I don't know. You follow? And then you get to this, like, I can't now I could kind of read my wife's mind, right? And I know that like basically she wants this combination of being left alone to do whatever the hell she wants and a little bit of pampering, but not too much. She doesn't want the smother. She doesn't want to be smothered. She doesn't want to be restricted. She doesn't want my plans to like get in the way of her doing whatever the hell she wants to do. But she wants a little love. She wants a little effort, you know. So I gotta anyway. That's just years and years and years and years and years of communication making it work. But otherwise, we're not in each other's heads. I mean, there's so many times she busted my balls the other day. Marianne did. I got up from my desk. I went into the living room. I went in. I started talking to Abigail, my daughter, and Marianne's like, Jeffrey, do you realize that Abigail has not been in your head for the last 3 minutes before you came in? You know, the first word out of your mouth was my first word out of my mouth was evidence that I was in my head about something. And then I just start talking as if they were with me the whole time.
Mm.
Do you understand? Like, and they're like, what? Wait, hang on, slow down. What are you talking about? So I'm a master of communication. And I even screw this up all the time. It's just human nature. You understand? So, but when we really identify, hey, guess what? There's a communication problem. It's not enough. Like you good, congratulations, you got the first step out of the way. But then, how do you improve that? How do we improve communication? What's required of improved communication? What are the steps of improving communication? What's the path? What's the map to better communication? So, I have some answers to those questions if you have any, but it is Mother's Day, and I'm dying to get back to Marianne. But Josiah, what else? Anything else with Josiah or Patty for tonight?
Well, it was keen to notice how like I had several takeaways from the whole experience. One of the first ones was make sure you're communicating with the right person, the decision maker, specifically.
Oh yeah.
And it was like one of the most elementary concepts, but wasn't one that occurred to me at the time. So that was something to get to carry in the next.
Yes, I've been on the other end of that too, man. And sometimes we get fooled, I guess. I don't have a better word for it. We get fooled thinking, like, I don't know if this is the decision maker, but let me go ahead and influence the hell out of this person and see if they can influence the decision maker. Sometimes it's like that, right?
Well, it can work sometimes, and timeshares are great at that. They're always like, hey, make sure you bring your spouse, bring your partner, bring the decision maker, because then they eliminate the whole. Let me go ask my spouse before I make this really huge financial decision.
Yeah, I've actually not scolded. I don't want to say scolded, but I've profronted people like, why on earth would you make the appointment with me and not have my wife on the line? Like, why would you go through this whole presentation instead of saying, hey, when can your wife join you for the call? Like especially network marketing people and MLMers, right? It's like, just sorry. Like if it were me, I don't want to meet with you unless you and your, and the partner, or you and the wife. Why even meet? Anyway, I digress. I'm not here to give strategy on get to the decision maker tonight. I'm here to promote Get a Clue in 52 and to tip number 9 tonight, which was all about tip number. That's so funny. Tip number 9 is all about sloganeering and wordsmithing. And if we can have fun with that, that's cool. I teased a little bit that I own over 300 domains because of all the wordsmithing and sloganeering that I've been through with prospects and clients or coaching assignments. And if it weren't Mother's Day, that's probably how I'd want to entertain myself, is getting into some screen sharing, going through the list of the domains I have in GoDaddy. I recently sold a domain that I had bought, and it's exciting to know that I've got domains that have market value and that people may want to purchase. And if I train coaches, right, and then they can start a business, I've got a lot of different brands waiting for coaches to step into. And then it's just a fun process. And I know how I arrive at sloganeering, my ability to sloganeer, But tonight's not the night to elaborate on it. I'd rather just answer any questions that you guys have, or allow you to make any comments or contributions, and then I'd request, getting back to my wife and Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to you, Patty, and everybody else out there that may be paying attention, whether you're watching on YouTube channel, watch Get a Clue, all one word on the YouTube channel, or whether you're watching on Facebook over here. Hello. Yeah, that's my hand right there. Whether you're watching on Facebook, you're always welcome to come onto the Zoom. It's so easy, tinyurl.com/get a clue. Let me go ahead and make last call. Patty, Josiah, any comments, questions, anything else that I could do for you guys?
I have a question about the wordsmithing and everything. Is that something that you mentioned, get a sloganeer or someone to do that for you, maybe somebody who's maybe more proficient with their wordsmithing? Or do you recommend developing that skill oneself as a speaker, as a coach, as marketers, and all the things that we do? I feel like is that.
All right. First of all, let me go Yoda on you and encourage you to get away from either or thinking. Instead of saying, do you recommend this or do you recommend that? I recommend both, either, neither, or more than those two things. Right. So if it's, if it's possible for you to develop the skill sets of sloganeering, wordsmithing, right? If you read a lot of books and you have a great vocabulary, but to me, the person that should be doing this is the empath, right? The empath, the person that feels other people's emotions, the person that's in touch with their emotions. I've cried a lot today because I feel. You understand? And I can speak emotional language. I can hear when people are saying whatever it is they're saying. I can tell if they're dealing with regret or dread or powerlessness or abandonment or guilt. I can hear those different frequencies in the words that come out. Also, I like to hang out with people that are dealing with gratified, satisfied, pleased, hopeful, enthusiastic, steadfast, firm, unwavering. But I can hear and feel those things with just the energy that emits around people. I consider myself an empath, right? But that's God-given, is the empath. What's man-made is the masters in communication. So now I've got frameworks and techniques or dialogues or codes or you understand, I got templates that that it makes it easy for me to understand and describe things or be a couple steps ahead, right? But I'm still a human being, and I'm guilty of everything that I've ever taught anybody about. Okay, you follow? That's just part of being human, and So what I would say is, you're asking about, should I learn to be a wordsmith or should I hire a wordsmith? Well, to me, I don't hire anybody unless I can learn from them. Right. And it may not be required to become a wordsmith or to learn how to be a wordsmith. I don't know if there's a class for that. I don't know if there's a school for it. I've never seen a class, a course, a school, or curriculum like become a wordsmith. Never seen it. It'd be interesting. I wouldn't know how to teach it. Other than if I was like on the spot right now, if you said, hey, Jeff, if you were to teach me how to be a wordsmith, how would you do it? I would start with emotions. Does that make sense? So I wouldn't encourage you to become a wordsmith. I would encourage you to master the emotions that people want to feel. I would encourage you the emotions that equate to our pleasure and pain. I would encourage you to master emotional dialogue, emotional conversation, the 70 negative and the 70 positive emotions. I would encourage you to master emotion, because then if you do, you'll infuse every marketing message into what people want, which is to feel good.
Right.
Mic drop.
Thank you, brother. I mean, you set me up. You set me up on that. Thank you. Do you hear what I'm saying? So if you endeavor to do it yourself and you're not liking what you come up with, hire somebody. But don't just hire somebody. Work with them. Be hands-on. Immerse yourself. And don't endeavor to be a wordsmith. Endeavor to know the emotions that people want to feel and experience. And make sure that everything you're communicating, everything that you're delivering is to help people feel that way, the way they want to feel.
To use words to engender emotion.
You got it. You got it. Absolutely. I'm trying to give you an example. Like, I don't know, it's just very simple. I don't ask my son, like when I'm taking my 8-year-old, my Bubba, my little Brody, 8-year-old, I'm taking him to school. I don't say, are you gonna have a good day? What's he gonna ask? Maybe are you gonna have a good day? Is it yes or no? Yes. No. I don't know. Right? What I say instead is, what's it gonna take for you to have an amazing day? And then he'll say, oh, all I gotta do is listen to my teacher and get my work done early. You follow? It's different. Right? So if you slow down, amazing in his emotion, he wants to feel amazing, he wants to be amazing. So it's a better question to ask him, just drop that adjective in there. That's a little tiny example. All right, what do we need to infuse into our marketing messages to get the attention of our prospects? Right? Does that help, Josiah?
Oh, absolutely. And that's something I do typically when I'm meeting people or just making conversation rather than how's your day going? Again, what do they say? Good. It's okay. Right. But if I come at them with, what was amazing about your day? Now I'm pre-framing them to pick out the amazing thing rather than what people typically go for, whatever going bad or wrong.
Yeah. And sometimes but you're not limited you're only limited by your creativity. Sometimes you can say, like, what sucked ass today? Just curious, did anything suck ass today? Like, did anything just suck? Tell me, share it with me.
Yesterday, yeah, today was good.
Anyway, so it's I would say the path to wordsmith is emotion.
And practice.
Emotional mastery is a really good path to and then not just that, but read as much as you can. Read good books from like educated people that take you places and expand your command of vocabulary, right? Read a lot of books and know emotions, understand emotions.
You could always take a poetry course because
I've developed a bit of my repertoire from watching The Blacklist and the way they script James Bader's character.
Watching who?
The Blacklist.
The Blacklist.
Is that, I don't know what that is, but I mentioned, is that a TV show?
It's an amazing show on Netflix, and the main character has an amazing way of.
Let me just say, hey, Josiah, you have no children, right?
None yet.
Okay.
Like JCPenney, they're all inside.
Just checking. Because when you have kids, you would have time for Blacklist. I digress. All right. Anything else for tonight, you guys?
I want you to go back to your wife.
Get a clue in 52, number 19 overall, number 9 from the marketing section. It's been a colorful conversation, as always, when Josiah shows up, and it's always a steady conversation when Patty shows up. My gratitude to both of you. Happy Mother's Day to you and yours. Mom, rest in peace, and kiss Dad for me, and happy Mother's Day to you. I love you guys. I see Jackie, and I. Sorry if I missed anybody on the Facebook side, but hello, Jackie, and anybody else that chimed in. Mother's Day edition of Get a Clue in 52. All right, you want to ready to see it with a kiss, Patty?
Yep.
Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Get a clue.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys.
All right, have a great one.
All right.
Ciao.